Hi everybody, welcome to Dandelion Cottage and Paper Crafting Saturday. I'm Leslie Watkins. Oops, there you are. Hi everybody, I hope you're well. It's a beautiful day here in New England. It's one of those fantastic fall days where the temperature is just right and the sun is out. I know a lot of people across the country are having some terrible ordeals with the smoke and the flooding, and just, my prayers are with you. And let's hope we can get this turned around as soon as possible. But in the meantime, I'm going to show you a quick project today where I will be painting with ink. So this is a terrific project for dyed-in-the-wool paper crafters who love the watercolor look, but they don't want to get involved with watercolors. They just want to stick with their ink. So I'm going to show you how to do that today. And we're using a really pretty set called Fancy Phrases. And I think you're going to like this. So let's get started. This is a 3D project, by the way. We're going to make a little box. So with this set, and let me see if I can get this adjusted so you can see it better. You've got this beautiful floral bouquet here, and you've got this very nice little spray, and you've got a number of sentiments from birthday wishes, a little something just for you, and sending a little smile your way. May your day be filled with heartfelt happiness and more. So this is a very nice all-around set to have. You can use this throughout the year. And I'm also using some dies, and this is called the Celebration Labels dies. And these are a very interesting set of dies because, first of all, they're really large. Okay, so this big one it's a little more than 6 inches long and 4 5/8 wide. So that's a good sized die. And they come in various sizes with a number of decorative elements. But what's particularly interesting about them is that they've got this little divot in the middle of each side. So what you can do is you can cut out your label or shape, and then you can score it in half either way and fold it to make a kind of a label that you could staple onto a package. So it could be cookies or candy or something for Halloween, whatever, Christmas. And so it's a very handy die set to have. Today we're going to just use it flat. So I'm going to begin. Let's get that die cutting out of the way. So I've got the new cut and emboss machine here. And I think that's going to just fit in the screen just perfectly. And I've got my plates. So I'm using the base plate number 1, number 2, and number 3. So you can tell because each plate is numbered. So 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to get, let me find a piece of my watercolor paper. Where is it? I've got it. Okay. So this is a piece of the Fluid 100 watercolor paper, and it comes in a pack of 10. They measure 5 by 7. This is a half piece, so this measures 3.5 by 5. And I'm using one of these dies that fits that perfectly. And my top plate, we're just going to roll that through. There we go. And what you get, and this is really nice, I wish you could feel, you know, the one thing we're missing, well, the third thing we're missing after taste and smell is how these things feel. And the quality of the papers is really nice to the touch, so that when your gift recipient gets these cards and boxes and things, there's a whole tactile experience. And you also have this beautiful little decorative detail on the edge. You can see that little stitching, and of course your shape comes out perfectly. I'm just going to put these away so I don't lose any. Okay, so next I'm going to take this big image and I'm just finding a block that will fix that, fit it. So I have the E block, and that fits very nicely on there. Got my stamp pad, and I have out the Sahara Sand ink. It doesn't have to be Sahara Sand. It could be any neutral color, so anything like crumb cake or basic gray, gray granite, smoky slate, any of those kind of soft neutral colors is fine. Even a light blue like balmy blue or misty, whatever that misty one is called. So all you're going to do is you're going to stamp off, and what I mean by that is you're going to load up your image and then stamp once on a piece of scrap paper, and then figure out which way you want to have your image. Give that a good press. Now the watercolor paper has a texture to it, so it may not be a perfect image, and that's okay. You're just looking for a very light impression. All right, so this ink that's left on here is basically going to melt away as you paint. You just want something to give you an outline so that you know where to put your color. So if you're someone who isn't feeling very confident about your drawing, this is a great way to dive right into your watercolor and get some very nice results. All right, now the other thing I want to mention is that when the line work begins to disappear, you may want to have your image on the case handy to refer to, just so you can see what's what. Okay, then I have a little palette. All right, so when you order the kit that comes, I'm going to be offering this class, by the way, next month, and with all the papers and cardstock that you'll need, you'll also get one of these little palettes, and these are great for holding your colors. So I've got three reinkers here. I've got the Daffodil Delight, which is my yellow. I have the Cherry Cobbler for my red, and I have Pretty Peacock for my blue. So all I'm going to do is take a couple of drops of each of these colors, and I'm just going to put them in my palette. I'm going to put them in this order: yellow, red, and blue. There we go. All right, and a little bit of this goes a long, long way. And some of the other things I'm going to be using today are my brushes, which have momentarily disappeared. So these are the water painters. And for this one, I think I'm going to use the little one. Okay, so I'm going to use the brush with the smallest point. And I have a paper towel handy. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to squeeze a drop of water. Let me zoom you in so you can see this more closely. Got you arranged on the screen here. I had one of my watercolor students tell me that she likes seeing me better on camera than live because of the close-up that she gets when she sees me zooming in on these things. So I hope you find that helpful as well. So I'm just squeezing a couple of drops of water into my palette. Okay. Get that so you can see the whole thing. There we go. All right. Now I'm going to take a little bit of my yellow and I'm just going to make a little puddle. All right, so I'm diluting my ink. So there we go. I'm going to clean the brush and I'm grabbing a little bit of the blue. And you can see these colors are extremely strong, which is why you want to dilute them. So if I take, and what you're not seeing is off camera, I'm cleaning my brush in between. So I'm going to take some of that yellow and mix it with my blue and get a nice green. And I'm just going to fill in those leaves. And I don't want to go too dark, just enough so that I can see it really. And it does not have to be perfect. It's okay to leave a little bit of white in the light areas. That helps the look of it. Okay, I think I got most of them. There's another one here. All right, so now I'm just checking against my lid, which I have right here, so that I can see if I'm missing any of these petals, leaves. So here's another that I missed, and two more right here. Okay, so that was pretty easy. And if we missed any, we can come back to it. So I'm cleaning my brush, just squeezing a little bit of water out. And now I'm going into my red, which is in this case cherry cobbler. Now you don't have to use these exact colors. I like these, and they will coordinate with some of the cardstock I'm going to be using on this particular image, but you use whatever you like, and I really think it helps to experiment. So go ahead and try a different color combination if you like. Now, a couple of these flowers look like they have some little centers, so I'm just going to put some yellow. There we go. Right, now some of this may get covered up, and that's okay, but it just helps me to find where all the flowers are. And now I'm going back to that pink, and I'm adding a little bit of yellow to that, so I'm warming it up. And I'm squeezing the brush just to get the water flowing through there, because I want this lighter. And if you have a little piece of scrap paper off to the side so that you can test your colors better yet. So I'm just going to go over these petal shapes with the pink. It's okay if it blends with the yellow that's already on there, that's fine. Just go right over it. And then you have these little buds. So you want to be careful to capture all of those. And it's fine to vary the tones. That's just going to make it even more interesting. So go ahead and get a little lighter and a little darker, but don't go too dark too soon, because we're going to build this up. Okay, so there it is. It's just that easy. So that's the first pass. I'll show you what that looks like close up. All right, so that's what I would call the first wash. Now I'm going to take a little more of my red, and I'm going to start to just define some of these petals. And I'm still not going full strength. I'm still keeping it fairly diluted. And I'm squeezing, using two hands now to get this water flowing. There we go. That's better. So I think you can see what's happening. I'm just adding a little more color here and there. And in the class, I will be talking about how to decide where to put your darks more. In the meantime, you can just follow some of the shadow lines on the art, and that will help to guide you. But I'll be talking about how you can determine for yourself how to shade things. And sometimes these little buds can be a darker version than the full-blown flowers, as the flowers in many species bloom and age. They become lighter and paler, much like I am. There we go. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the leaves. So I'm squeezing my brush, removing that red, and going back, show you my mixing here. Okay, so I'm taking that yellow, a little blue. Now some colors are stronger than others, so I think you can see that in this case the blue is much stronger than the yellow. So I'm going to have to add a little more yellow back into there to get the green I want. So that's looking pretty good. And I do like the green that I'm getting with these two colors very much. All right, so now I'm just going to do a little line work and just using the tip of my brush, just putting some accents on those leaves. And I'm drawing in the stems. And the same over here. Make that a little darker. And you just keep going until you get it the way you want it. There we go. Now at this point, the lines are gone, and that's what we want. So now you're really just painting. And the ink behaves very much the way your watercolors do. All of these inks and the brushes and the paper and so forth will be listed below. There'll be a one-click link to my store, and you'll be able to get any of these things. And if you'd like to learn more about the upcoming classes, please go to dandelioncottagedesign.com and subscribe to Notes. And I will send you something on the first of the month that will have all of the information as well as a button to register. There we go. Okay, so now the leaves are done. I'm going to take some straight blue and just put the darkest accents on there, here and there. That's fine. And now I'm going to go back into my roses. So now I really need to make sure that my brush is nice and clean. And it may help if you have a water container in addition to the water in your brush, if you want to give that a good swirl around. So that's what I'm doing here, just to get that nice and clean. Okay, and then picking up my diluted red mixture again, I'm going to just go back into those roses and add a little more shadow. And I can do the same thing with these other flowers. Just a couple of strokes. My buds. And it really does not have to be a perfect copy of the stamp. You're just looking for an impression, a floral impression. So you just want to keep it nice and loose. Just want to get a little more color on this one. Here we go. And I see that there's a couple of buds that are missing their stem. So I'm going to go back in with my green mixture and the point of my brush, and I'm just going to connect these little buds. There we go. Okay, so there's our little picture, and it looks very cute. Now I'm just going to put these inks and things aside so we don't have an incident. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm taking one of, where'd it go? I don't understand how these things jump around and disappear, but they do. Okay, so this is one of the mini, oh, let me zoom you out. That's a little confusing. Hold on. There we go. That's better. Okay, so this is one of the mini pizza boxes, and these are great for several different reasons. First of all, they're ready to go and really easy to put together, which who doesn't like that? And I'm getting a little bit of a bluish cast here from the window. Let me just see if I can adjust that so you can see it better. Okay, now all I'm going to do is, the other thing, so they're really easy to put together. If you see there's a shiny side, this is a food safe option, okay? So you can use these to store little cakes, all sorts of cookies and other treats. So I'm just going to score this on all the score lines. Just like so. And then to assemble it is very easy. Let's give this another press here. We want this to be nice and crisp. There we go. So you just fold in these little tabs, fold up the sides, just like so, and you see it's got these little tabs that you just snap into place. Very easy, and they hold it nice and securely. So just press those and snap them into place. And there is your adorable little food safe box. So those are two of the reasons why these boxes are so nice, and these tabs then fold right in there to hold it shut very nicely. They're really sturdy. But maybe the best part of all is that they fit our note card and envelope packs perfectly. So in these packs you get a set of 20 envelopes and 20 note cards, and these are pre-scored, ready to go, and you can make a set of beautiful note cards. You can use the same technique that we used with the inks on this design, stamp it right on the top of your cards, and make a beautiful set that you could give to somebody as a gift for Christmas or their birthday or any other holiday, for, you know, guests that are coming to Thanksgiving, or maybe guests that you're not going to see this Thanksgiving, so whatever the occasion may be. So all I'm going to do now is, I have a piece of Whisper White card, I'm sorry, this is Very Vanilla. I like the Very Vanilla because I think it goes nicely with the Fluid 100 watercolor paper. And I've cut this down to size. So this, let me just make sure I've got the front of my box, and I do. Okay. So this measures 3.5 by 5 1/4. And then I've got a mat. This is the Pretty Peacock, and this one measures 3 1/4 by 5. And I'm just going to put a little bit of liquid glue on here. Glue that down on my Very Vanilla, and I'm just moving that to get it right where I want it. And when I'm happy with the position, I can just flip it over and take my bone folder and give that a nice burnish to spread the glue evenly. So that's going to go on here like that. And then I'm going to place my artwork on top of that. Now at this point, if you wanted to put a ribbon on the box, I'm not going to do it in this case, but you could, maybe I will, just to show you. Hold on a second, I'll grab a ribbon. So this is the Whisper White crinkled seam binding ribbon, and this is one of my favorites, so I'm going to use this because it's very easy to use, and I just really like the quality of it. So it comes only in white, but if you take your reinkers that we use to paint with, you could actually put a couple of drops in some water and soak the ribbon in there, let it dry, and you could stain it to any color you like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a length of ribbon. I'm just going to wrap this loosely around here for measure. Okay, so I'm going to cut off about this much. Let me get my scissors. Alright, so this is how I'm going to do this. First I'm going to take a little piece of tear tape. This is our tear and tape. It's a double-sided tape, and you just take a little piece off, and I'm going to place that right in the center of the lid of my box. Okay, and then I'm going to peel away the backing. Let me make sure that that's stuck down really well. Just peel the backing off. I'm going to find the center of my ribbon, and I'm going to hold that in place on the back of the box and just hold that in place just like that. So what I have is the front of the ribbon coming to the front of the box. Okay, now I'll take my mat get that centered on there. And I love this pretty peacock. Pretty peacock is one of the in colors. So this color will be available through 2020 and 2021. And then it will be replaced. So if you like this color the way I do, you'll want to use it now while you can get it. And then I'm just going to glue this flat on top. I thought about applying some dimensionals, but I think I really want it to be flat, flush to the surface. So I'm adding the glue a little bit. Let me zoom you in so you can see a little bit more closely. I'm not going quite to the edges. I'm staying away because I don't want the glue to seep up through that beautiful stitching. And get that on there right in the middle. And there's a beautiful little box. Now before I tie the bow, I just want to show you so I would take, let's say if I took 8, so 2, 4, 6, 8 envelopes, and then you would have your 8 note cards that you decorate any way you like. And there you have a beautiful presentation box for your note cards to give as a gift. So this is very easy to do. Your friends will think that you've done a gorgeous piece of art for them, which of course you have, okay? but with just a very little bit of effort, because the drawing is already done for you. You're just using the 3 colors. The box is already made. So it's a terrific first project for someone just starting out. So I hope you like that. Here is my website again, dandelioncottagedesign.com. Please subscribe to Notes from Dandelion Cottage, and you will get all of the listings for the class coming up where I go into painting with ink and watercolor in much more detail next month. And there's going to be a special stamp camp with bingo and all sorts of prizes that you'll want to hear all about and get a special invitation to. So the only way you can do that is by subscribing to Notes. So I hope to see you then in, what's next? Marvelous Monday at 12 noon right here. Stay well, stay creative, and have a wonderful weekend.